Hi guys, it's your girl again, Bola Tito Fatoki at Spedeveryday. Thanks for watching my video today, and I really want to appreciate all my subscribers out there. Thanks for following me. Thanks for making this platform a better one. And for all those that have been sending in questions and we're working together, thank you so much. I really appreciate you opening up about your child, and of course, that's what we need. Special education community is a huge one. We all need each other's support to be able to better assist our children. And that's why today at Spedeveryday, I have something important to talk about. Because I've got friends and families and a lot of people asking me, what's the special education all about? Okay, I don't have a child with disabilities. What is it actually about? Of course, we need to talk about it. Spedeveryday, like I always tell you, is special education every day. And is this just for some particular set of people? No. We all can benefit from this video recordings. We all can benefit on this platform. Because, special education simply is an intervention for people, for individuals that have been, evaluated and identified with a particular kind of disability. So special education is a unique way of teaching and making these people learn to better understand, to reach them from where they are. Like I always say, Spedeveryday to me, with Spedeveryday, we don't talk about differences. I don't believe in any child is different. But what we believe here at Spedeveryday is the uniqueness of that child, the uniqueness of that individual. Everybody has a strength, but how do we and when they have weaknesses, how do we turn these weaknesses to strength? How can this individual learn in the same way, at the same pace, or even if not at the same pace, but with the same thing, the same skills that a child that has not been identified with disabilities learn? So again, like I said, special education is unique, it's an intervention. It is called a specially designed instruction. That's the uniqueness. An instruction is designed to intervene. Every child must learn. Every child is entitled to learn. No one has come into this world, just to come and go. Every child must be given that opportunity. And how do we give this opportunity? Is by reaching them from where they are to where they are. So that is the essence of special education, and that is what we do here at Spedeveryday. And like I always tell you, we are focused on transition, independence. We want to give these kids the best that we can. And of course, who qualifies for special education? Today we're talking again about special education, what special education is, who qualifies for it. Can my child still go to school even if they've been identified with disabilities? Then is autism the only kind of disabilities we have? So all this I'm going to go through with you today, and I hope you're able to learn and to have a better understanding of special education and what we do here at Spedeveryday. So first again, I want to go back to what I said earlier. Special education is a unique intervention. It is a specially designed instruction that helps, or that is designed to help our individuals or children, anybody identified with disabilities, to learn, to be able to reach or develop a certain skill that they've lacked. And of course, how did they qualify for special education services? Here in the United States, I would say, they have to be evaluated. You can't just pick a child and say, oh, you are qualified, you are a special needs child. No, there must be an evaluation. And that evaluation is what would now give us the lead way, the guide to what the child actually needs, and also to where the child is, or that individual is at that point. And then through this, the instructions to be able to guide this child, to help this child, would be put in place. So again, let's go to how will I know if my child, or do I just wait? Do I have to wait till my child is developed? No. From some children are born with disabilities. For some it's obvious, for some it's not obvious yet. But one thing I always want to let parents know, caregivers, is never, 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 never welcome any form of denial. If you notice anything about your child, you know what? It's always best to check it. Don't push it back. A lot of us will go ahead and say, oh, I'm going to pray about it. And even while you're praying about it, it's always best to get this child evaluated. It's always best to consult a professional. Because by the time this child starts an intervention process early, you know, it helps a lot. And you don't have to wait for the school age. You know, the government has made it possible with the IFSP, which is the Individualized Family Support Plan, to also help parents transitioning into this kind, you know, of lifestyle. Because for anyone taking care of a child or an individual with special needs, I'm telling you, it's a lifestyle. It's something that it has to be a total commitment, and it's not easy. You know, and of course, I always say that's why we need a community around us. That's why we need to talk to professionals, to open up to friends. No one is an island when it comes to special needs children. We need to open up, because the self-care of the person taking care of these individuals is very important. So once you identify, or you see, you just have a feeling like the child is lacking in some developmental skills, please contact a professional. Talk to your pediatrician. From the age of 0 to less than 3 years old, the government has been able to provide. We have laws that support the IFSP, so that parents can be aware, parents can transition along with their kids. And of course, going to the school age, from the age of 3 to 21 in the United States, the government, it's compulsory. A child, it is their right. Your child can go to school. Your child can be able to develop under circumstances, whatever circumstances it is. Your child can find help. There are professionals there that help your child, you know, so that would help your child in school, wherever your child is. So we're going to, of course, in our subsequent videos, I'm going to give you strategies to be able to help these children, where they can get their help from, and where the services can be provided. So even if your child, you know, is not capable of being in school, there are also centers, they are even homebound. You know, we're going to talk about this in the next video, for you to know that there's help everywhere. So don't feel lost. You know, you have the backing of people around you, you have your home backing, and you, of course, what you want is you want your child to develop. You want your child to be independent to a certain extent. And that is why early intervention is always a key. So again, I want to say, special education is about specially designed instruction that will help your child. Anyone that has been evaluated and identified with a disability qualifies. And of course, some people always say autism. Some people, you know, they just believe the only kind of disabilities we have is autism. It's not just autism. There are different ones. We have autism. Deafness falls under disability. How about emotional disturbance, visual impairment, including blindness, speech or language impairment, orthopedic impairment, hearing impairment, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, traumatic brain injury, other health impairments, including ADHD, and we also have specific learning disability. So any kind of disability that would reduce a child's way of learning, that cannot be taken for granted. So knowing all this today, that disability is not just about autism, then of course it is worthy to know that pushing it further, because, you know, most people, like when I've been receiving calls, will tell me, oh, I don't think my child has autism. I spoke to somebody and their child doesn't do this. Yes, even with autism, every child is different. So the most important, what I keep saying is that once you see anything, just rule it out. To rule it out, take that child to the pediatrician, let that child be evaluated. You know, it's better to know that it is nothing to worry about than to later find out that, oh, you truly push that child. Make sure you do not delay. And what if my child has a disability? You know, of course, nobody is ever ready for that. Everybody says, oh, I don't want it, it's not going to happen to me. But what if this child has it? First of all, it is important to understand what that child has. Because when you have an understanding of what is going on in the child's life, you know, it helps you to be able to help your child, to know the right resources you need to help your child, you know, and to know what to do. So the first thing you want to do, you want to really understand, okay, what is going on with this child? And of course, in our next few sessions, I'm going to be picking all these identified disabilities that I mentioned today. I'm going to pick them one by one and briefly talk about what you should look at and, you know, better ways to, you know, generally help this individual when they have it or when we notice it and what they're actually about. So it is important, firstly, that you know, what am I into? Then, number two, you want to help someone, then you need to self-care about yourself. You need to be able to know where to draw the line. You need to know how to plan yourself. It takes a schedule to be able to help an individual with special needs, because you don't want to be rushed in and then get frustrated. You know, like when I was talking to one of my friends, you know, she's into the mental health, and she said, you know, some parents with kids with disabilities, they're even more frustrated. You know, the mental illness develops because they can't juggle it together. So that's why you need some resources. You need to be sure of what your child has, and then to know what resources is available to help that child. And one important thing is also that I want you to understand that there are people out there, and there are also willing parents out there that can serve as advocates for your child. The special education law everywhere is huge. You cannot know it all, except you really want to say, okay, I'm studying this. But there are people, there are experts out there that have learned this and they know how to help your child. So it's not wrong for you to even hire an advocate for your child, so that you know that you can get your strength from helping at home when the child gets back from school or wherever they are. And then you can still keep your sanity because you have somebody that can advocate for your child. But just remember that in order for somebody to be able to advocate for your child, you will know your child as well. So you can let them know what you've noticed about your child and what you think. Then you can juggle ideas together, and, you know, with their expert knowledge, they'll be able to help you and even attend meetings and attend sessions with you and your child, and to be able to help you even develop mentally things that you need to help your child better. What if I don't have a child with special needs? Okay, I already have all my children and they don't have disabilities. Life event happens. So having disabilities doesn't just come with, okay, I had my kids already, it's only from birth. No, life event happens. It can occur through injury. There are things that happen in life that we don't pray for. Accident, illness. You know, you've had children. They were born naturally. No disabilities identified then. Maybe an hair infection. So it is important for us to just be aware. So medically, even though I'm not a medical practitioner, but I will let you know that we don't play with anything. It's too risky to play with your child's health. Once anything, no matter how little the injury is, as long as you know this is not controllable, this is not going, please seek a professional's advice. Take your child to the emergency room. Take your child to the doctor. I've met parents with kids that, you know, the only thing they did was, oh, my child has an hair infection, and I delayed it because I thought it was going to go. He never went. Now this child has developed some kind of disability that has, you know, stopped them from learning or has affected their learning process. So we do not in any way want to do that to our children. I'm going to give a brief recap of what I've talked about today. I was able to identify what special education is, and to let you know that it's not like we keep hearing it. special education, but what actually is it? It's specially designed instruction, of course, for individuals that have been identified with disabilities to help them learn, to help them grow. And when my child is identified, what do? The way forward, important. I talk about understanding what your child needs and what your child is into and how the child can be helped, who you need to talk to, what resources are available. I also talked about the IDEA law in the United States that supports your child with disabilities. I mentioned about the IFSP that is available for children between 0 and less than 3 that can help them and their parents transition into that. It's a plan that focuses on parents and the individual with the special needs, that can help them transition into it and know better what they're into, of course, before school age. And of course, I also mentioned that all this, there are rights protecting individuals with special needs, and we need to know these rights. I mentioned we can also speak with special education advocates. So if you think you are lost, you can talk to an advocate that will tell you, and also grow the parent community. On Facebook, on Instagram, there are a lot of communities that, parents with special needs, educators, professionals come together and they share ideas, they share experiences. Even though your child is unique, theirs is unique, but there are still some basic things that if you know it, it will help you better the life of your child. So come out there, don't stay indoor, don't just stay there and feel lonely about it. It's a huge community and you have such support. And I also said, what if my child doesn't have any form of disability and there's no life event? Of course, if we don't have that, it is our responsibility to be able to take care and help those that do have it. We can commit ourselves to it. But before we commit ourselves to it, we need to understand what they're going through. We need to know what their child is facing. So it is important for us too, as individuals that do not have these categories of individuals around us, to learn and to be able to know how to serve them better. So it can be a beautiful world for them. Everybody deserves happiness. Everybody deserves help. It may be your neighbor's child that you don't even understand. Just see them run around, see them do this, and you think, oh, this child is being over-pampered. It may just be that disabilities. So we need to learn and know and help people around us to be able to achieve success around their children, and ease the stress that they're going through. So lastly, I want to say denial. I talked about denial. Let us make sure there's early intervention. As soon as we know, let's not be in denial. A lot of us, of course, like I mentioned earlier, I want to pray about it. I'm going to do this about it. But it's your child's health. I pray, I believe in God. But please, let's be aware. Do not push anything back. It may be too risky because you may be one of those that your child only need a preventive strategy. We're going to talk about that in the next video. And so delaying it may make it worse. So never be in denial. Again, I want to appreciate all my subscribers and everybody watching this video today. I want you to know that I'm always here to help and support you and your child. I'm always here to let you know more things that you do not know or want to understand better. And of course, with my array of professionals and experts around me, I'm opportune to be able to ask questions that I don't even know about because I'm still learning as well. And of course, give you answers to your questions. Again, thanks for supporting Spedeveryday. And please look forward to our next episode of Spedeveryday, where I'm going to be talking about strategies available for your kids, the models to be able to teach these kids. Where can they learn? What support is available educationally? Thank you again for being part of Spedeveryday. God bless you. It's your girl again, Bola Tito Fatoki. Spedeveryday. Remember, subscribe and share this video. And of course, see you next time. Bye.